Hey everybody, welcome to With That Being Said, a Roof Fitness podcast. We have a very special guest with us, the owner of Body BFF, Mr. Brandon Nelson.
Morning.
How you doing, Brandon? Brandon actually taught a lot of the roof fitness instructors how to coach boxing, how to box. He actually had us boxing each other, which was a whole lot of fun.
I have video footage of that still.
Yeah, and so although we don't do boxing at the gym anymore, Brandon still holds a very good place in my heart because of how awesome of a guy he is. So, but we also have with us Miss Sarah Altabello, and I am Bradley Schneller. So, no, I didn't do any monikers today.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So we'll get right into it.
I think they know who we are.
Yeah. So, Brandon, how long have you owned Body BFF?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I've had Body BFF for, I want to say, about 4 years now. When we opened in May of 2016.
Okay, cool. And what kind of, what do y'all do at Body BFF? I mean, I know, but let's actually tell everybody
Tell
else.
the people at home.
Yeah.
So our special thing that we do is we have VersaClimber. I love this machine.
I thought about getting one, but they are super expensive.
Yeah, they are.
How many you
expensive. We have 14. Yeah. But this is an amazing machine. This is, before I had the studio, I taught spin, and I just felt like I was plateauing, and I found this machine, and VersaClimber has just been amazing. So we offer VersaClimber. We treat it like a spin class. We have music videos that we play, dark lights. Really fun club-like setting.
Yeah.
In 25 minutes, you'll burn like 500 calories.
That's legit.
So that's a real intense, obtainable workout, effective.
So you said you treat it like a spin class. Do you, as the instructor, do the VersaClimber while they're doing it?
Absolutely.
So how do you handle if you teach 3 or 4 classes in a day?
You get used to it. I mean,
eat a lot.
When I first got on the VersaClimber, I lost so much weight. I had to eat just to keep the weight on. I was going to get milkshakes to keep it on, which was amazing. I immediately just lost a ton of fat. And before we open, before you open a business, you're you got so many things to do. So I just stopped working out, and I just put on I saw you before and after pictures.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
So I was just eating. I'm taking off. I just want a break, and I just put on all this weight, and we got a VersaClimber, put it in my house, and I did it 3 times a week for I say about a month.
Yeah.
And I lost about 15 pounds. It was night and day different. If you go on our Instagram page, and go far back, you'll see a before and after picture.
All right, we'll try to find it.
We got to go take a class.
Yeah, we do need to take a class. We're supposed to. We need to do it. We need to do it. I want to.
Which was the first and probably last time I'll do a shirtless picture, but that was, I had to show it.
Hang out with me more. You'll take your shirt off. I am no stranger to taking my shirt off.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to.
All right, so what else? You got 2 other things, right?
So we have VersaClimber, and then we also have boxing. Boxing is very important. To me, it's basically how I got started in this whole industry. So we do boxing. We just got new water bags, and then we also do weights and body weight. Before, we used to have Megaformer, but one thing that I found was that we were kind of going the opposite direction of progression with as far as strength that was being developed. So we went back to the body weights exercises using weights, which are really, really effective.
So when did you come to that realization?
When I started using TRX one day in my boxing class, and I had people get in a suspended position doing a plank, and they couldn't stay up for 30 seconds, which was very interesting because before that, I had my clients doing 3-minute planks, 5-minute planks, no problems. We would do pikes and suspended TRX straps, followed by a minute plank. So to see them not being able to stay up, I knew that something was missing, and I kind of had that feeling, but that was a focal point of our studio at the time. So it was just hey, we need to readjust what our goals are, what our approach is to help our clients become stronger, to obtain their goals.
When did you nix that?
That was when we moved into
Your new space.
Which,
can you tell everybody where your new space is?
so we are now located on 730 South Rampart Street in the CBD between Girard and Julia. So over by the Daily Beat.
Okay, cool.
I have to say that's really impressive to hear because I feel like a lot of people would see that and they would blame the client or try
Right.
and just ramp up the programming versus looking at the whole picture and figuring out what was missing.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
How hard of a decision was it for you to do that? Because I imagine you pissed off some clients. by doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I mean, we had some people that really loved the Megaformer, and I understand. And what I told them is, I want you to do something that you love, because if you do something that you love, you'll get up and you'll do it every day. So, if you find another place to take Megaformer,
Go do it.
Go
Right.
do it. I'm happy for you. I understand. At some point we have to evolve, we have to grow, and you can't appease everybody, and we end up meeting some more new amazing people who really love what we're doing now.
Yeah. So kind of give me the flow of this new class you're doing.
So the main thing we really tried to do was simplify things, because we had a lot of names, and so we wanted to make it a little more simpler with our approach. So we have body, which basically means you're going to be in a 45-minute class. There's going to be cardio, there's going to be weight training, and there's going to be core training. So we have movement, balance, and strength. If it's a focus class, it's going to be in the title what we're focusing on. It'll be one of those three things,
Right.
either core training, either movement, cardio, or strength training. So that's really the main thing, and kind of my philosophy in general is keeping it simple. If I can keep it simple, it's easy to understand what's going on. It's easy to adjust and make your schedule how you want to program your workouts, things like that.
Yeah, it's like the majority of people don't, and when I say majority of people, like 99% of people don't need some complicated workout plan, right?
sure.
They just need to be able to move, have some resistance training in there in order to build some muscle, and then it needs to be fun
Yeah, they need to be interested enough to keep coming back.
to keep coming back,
For
right?
sure.
So like outside of that, we don't need to reinvent the wheel at all,
Right. Right.
So, and then you just put your spin on it.
But we also run into the issue with, people like shiny things.
Yeah.
So we are competing with that. We say that, we got this exercise that we're doing over here, and you're like, well, I haven't seen it in a magazine. My favorite celebrity or Instagram person is not doing it, so I'm not really into it. There are those people, and we have to compete with that. And, I get that. I think you do have to be creative and find some new niches to keep people interested. But I think what you guys do really well is you have a family,
Yeah.
that family feel. Like when I walk in, everybody's really friendly. I don't feel like if I walked in here off the street that I didn't feel welcomed.
Yeah, nice.
I
Thanks.
always feel welcome. So that's something that we try to do at our studio, because by to be fit, best friends forever.
Right.
That's
I
kind
like
of
it.
like our thing. We want to be your friend forever, So
You get like a lot more punch card type stuff though, right? Or
it's a mix.
Yeah.
It's a mix. I think right now with COVID, things are just kind of different. One of the new things that we're doing at our studios, we're getting TVs put up on the wall, and we're going to get a key card so you can come in and take a class privately in the room. You just rent out that spot. So we'll start recording some classes and say, like,
That's neat.
I want to do Tim's class, Tim's dance class, or I want to do his VersaClimber class. I want to do it at 1:15. You can book that time, come to the studio, press play on the iPad, and do a workout
in the off hours.
in off hours. Yeah.
I like that.
That's
really
great
neat.
just for people's schedules. Like that allows a lot more flexibility, but also in a time like this where someone might not be comfortable still in any sort of group setting, they can come in, book their time, still feel like they get a great workout. They don't feel quite as alone. And there's something to be said for like getting out of your house.
Right.
Yeah, Emily and I were talking last night at dinner. We were talking about what are the things that you think are going to remain post-COVID, right? Like, and we were talking about probably handshakes are kind of going out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like
Blowing out the candles on your birthday cake.
that, maybe
What
like
is that?
everybody kissing each other to say hello.
Right.
I mean that may not die, but across the board, that type of more personability.
Yeah.
I think is going to go out. But so for you though, in terms of business and in fitness, like that idea, it's not just a pivot for COVID. That sounds to me like a long-term pivot for your business, something that's going to be sustainable and would really work for you in the long haul.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of the idea. And just adapting to listening to your clients' needs. If you listen to what they want, they'll definitely help with some great ideas. So that was one of the recurring things that I heard was, hey, I want to come take class at 1:00. Do you have this time slot so we can just eliminate that and say you can come anytime you want? And once we get past COVID, it's like bring a couple of friends. You can do this workout. It's kind of like karaoke when you go to like the private room.
Right.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
So.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with giving your clients, or let's say balance between giving them what they want and what they think they want? Two different things, right?
Yeah.
Or should I say what they need?
Yeah. Well,
we just give them snarky attitude here and tell them to go sit back down. That's for you, Vanessa Simino.
I think you got to know. I think you have to know your demographic, and so where we are, there's a lot of young professionals. So we'll have a lot of doctors or lawyers that'll be in class, and they're pretty firm on what they want. I think the one thing that we do at our studios, we teach why we're working out. We want you to understand why you're doing this. We want you to know what exactly is working, how this benefits you, what's our overall thing. So for me, posture is everything. If anybody takes my class, they know I want to focus on posture. So when someone says, I want to do a bodybuilding exercise, and I'm like, it's a bodybuilder. If you think about that person, they probably can't even wipe. Can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay, they can't even wipe their ass, and
we'll drop some F-bombs in here. Don't
great.
worry. Yeah.
I was.
And Bradley's mom will count them.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
Hi, Bradley's mom.
I'll get a list.
Hey, yeah.
So I'll tell them, is this a functional movement? Does this go in line with what you want to accomplish as a whole? I kind of more question what is their overall agenda, and not just on the surface layer. I want to know deeply, like, what is your motivation, because that's how I can connect with you. So if we can identify with that, and you say, I want this, and I'm saying, does this connect with the person or the idea that you put in place with your fitness goal, your health and wellness?
Yeah. Does it align?
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to always bring that back here, and that's something we've done really in the last few years is shift our philosophy to, what your original intention was. And I talk about this all the time. I just talked about this with another CrossFit gym owner who, and actually a nutrition client yesterday, was that a lot of people start CrossFit because they want to look better.
Right.
Yep. And they do initially, and then they plateau because you are more of in an energy deficit. And they need to eat more because all of a sudden they're hungrier, but they don't know how to eat properly. So they eat like shit. And then they just plateau for a while. And then so they work out harder and increase their volume. And it keeps going like that. But then you get to a place where you're 36, or 40 or 42, and you're working out like a 24-year-old with increased volume. And then you don't understand why you're hurt all the time and you don't look the way you do. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I was like, hold on. We got to stop this. We just because everyone else does it doesn't mean we need to do it.
Right.
And so like we need to look at who our demographic is in the gym, which is like early 30s, late 40s for the most part. Okay. What are our goals as a whole? The gym, look good, feel good. Well, let's make our programming more geared towards that.
Yeah.
And I think with us, especially, it was what are the things we like about CrossFit? We like the functional movements.
Yeah.
We like that it's different all the time. We like big time the community aspect of it. And then how do we adjust the programming so it maintains all of those things, but keeping people safe and being strong in life, once they leave here? Like, what's the point of maxing out your deadlift all the time if you can't walk once you get home?
Right. Or like, for example, today we had dumbbell snatches, which most people can do in the gym. And that's a good movement for most people. But we have a special socially distanced class at 7:30 a.m., that's a lot of people 60 and above. And like couple of them have shoulder issues, like my mom, and she's trying to dumbbell. I'm like, why are you doing that?
Right.
Like, let's just do an upright row instead.
Right.
Something a little bit more controlled. You don't need to do it just because it's on the board here. So anyway, it's
No, I get
explaining
that.
a lot of that.
Yeah. It's, people want to do what everybody else is doing around them. They want to do what they see on TV. So that's something you're competing with. It goes back to the shiny toy. That's the motivating factor why they're in the gym. So, you got to kind of work with those people from time to time.
All right,
dangle a carrot in front of them.
I want to hop in a time machine. How did you get started in the fitness industry?
Okay. So
Where are you from?
I was born in Los Angeles, and
Couldn't tell by the sweatshirt.
nope. Do you like my Coogee?
I like it. It looks good.
I love.
I'm getting a very 80s vibe from
It
you.
is very 80s. This is my dad vibe.
Well, like late
I like
80s,
it.
early 90s.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So no, I got started with boxing. I think I was 20. Yeah, I was 20, and I went into a boxing gym on Ferret, Friday Night Fight, and took some classes from Mike. And Mike was, go stand in the corner and hit this bag, and then he just walk off.
All right, Mr. Miyagi.
I feel like you can only do that shit in a boxing gym, right? Like you can't do that anywhere else.
Go hit that bag, and he just leaves. So I'm over there hitting the bag, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on, and I'm just going to work on the bag. And I think this went on for like three sessions, and this guy Spider walks up to me. He's like, "Hey man, look, I feel really bad for you. I see you working really hard. I'll train you." I'm like, all right. So Spider teaches me how to box, and I fell in love with boxing, and I would just go there as many times as I could. And one day I told Spider, I was like, I really love doing this. I was a lifeguard at the time, mini hats at the time, working at Tulane Rec Center. So I always loved.
You ever save anybody's life?
Yeah, once. Nothing like real serious, but yeah, I have. Yeah.
What happened? I'm interested now. I'm always interested to hear lifeguard stories.
Yeah. So just somebody.
Water's scary.
It is, and it isn't. I mean, depending on where you are, like in that controlled environment, for sure. Like it's just, we just had somebody who was exhausted, just swimming in the middle. We just had to go get him out.
That happened to me in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
Bless.
If you listen to our podcast, you know what we're talking about. But I almost drowned this summer.
Yeah. That's a pretty surreal thing. How was that?
Jamie Taylor saved me my life, actually.
Really?
Yeah, she told me to.
She kept you calm.
She kept me calm and told me to turn over my back and float.
Yeah.
Because I was freaking that fuck out.
Yeah.
I think that happens a lot. You get exhausted because you freak out. Your heart rate gets super elevated. You start panicking. You're not taking deep breaths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a surreal
So your
thing.
person, they were exhausted.
Yeah, they were exhausted. I mean,
Wait, but they're in the rec pool?
but the Raleigh Rec is a really big, so
Okay.
just at some point,
Yeah.
you're just out in the middle, you're getting exhausted. So, just went in there to go help pull them out. It wasn't nothing like.
Oh, you didn't
I
have to
gotta
do
go
like
pull-
CPR or
no,
anything or
no.
life to life?
I'm very
life
happy.
to life, mouth
Mouth
to mouth,
Life to
I'm
mouth.
very
I
happy.
guess
I've
that's
never had
kind
to
of
do
what
that.
it is.
life to life.
Yeah.
You didn't have to punch a shark or anything.
No.
Solid.
All right, so you're wearing many hats. You
Yeah.
tell Spider.
So, Spider took me in. He taught.
Why
me
is he
and
called Spider?
That's his kickboxing name. So he's a world-class kickboxing champion. It was Sean Spider Hemphill, and he was amazing, like a really amazing fighter and an amazing instructor. And so I told him I was interested. So he took me under his wing and taught me a lot. And I told him I had interest to teach, and he was very helpful. Like he gave me all his knowledge, and I really appreciated that. So that was kind of my start into getting into fitness. Eventually, I got certified as a personal trainer, and I met Katie Kiefer over at JCC. That's another amazing trainer, and she taught me a lot of amazing things on holding
I used to go to
myself.
sock hops at the JCC.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell this quick story. I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast, and it's actually perfect timing. So I was working out at the JCC. This is back in 2007-ish. 8-ish, I think 2008-ish. And Emily and I go to the JCC, I think it was either on the 23rd or the 24th of December. So it's either the day before Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve. And I'm looking at their holiday schedule, and they're open on the 25th. And I tell the girl at the front desk, I was like, y'all are open on Christmas? That's crazy. And she looks at me like I'm stupid. and I'm like, and Emily like hits me, like, and we walk away, and she's like, it's the Jewish Community Center. I'm like, oh, fuck.
This is a very Bradley story.
Oh, my God. There was another time we were working out in the, like, yoga room where they had all these, like, plyo balls in the back of the JCC. And it was Emily, me, and, like, some other girl. And that's it. And it's real quiet. Like, no one's saying anything. And we're doing some ab work. And I just couldn't help it. Like, I let out a giant fart that was super loud. And she ignored it. And then all of a sudden looked at us and, like, walked out. And I'm like,
you got to own it.
I was like, my bad.
You got to let it fly.
You got to own that moment.
All right. Those are my JCC stories. So, anyway, so you're coaching at the JCC.
Yeah. I got my start at JCC as a personal trainer. And eventually, Riley Center started letting me teach group classes there, and I started the boxing program at the Riley Center. Got all the bags there, and Katie taught me to be organized and always have all your information readily available because you never know the opportunity that might come up, and that paid off big. I didn't realize a couple of the Tulane basketball players have been coming to my boxing class regularly. They really enjoyed coming. They were talking about it. So the assistant coach for the men's Tulane basketball team called me, and he was like, hey, would you be interested in training the men's basketball team? And I said, I would love to teach
Fuck yes.
the men's basketball team. I said, but I don't want to give away what I have for nothing. I don't just want to teach these guys and then, I don't grow from this. This is an amazing opportunity. And they said, well, let's come meet for lunch. And I sent them this 50-page risk management program that I put together for we tried to start Friday night fights at Tulane on the Riley Field where Notre Dame does this. They have like a 2 times a year where they have intramural boxing. That's awesome. I wanted to do that at Tulane, and we were so close to getting it to happen. The problem was they wouldn't let me pitch for intramurals because I wasn't a student. So I had to have a student pitch for me. And I learned my lesson. This kid shows up with a pencil and paper. And I'm like, oh, my God, for this meeting. And I sent him all this stuff. He's got handwritten stuff. They didn't take it serious. They thought that we're just trying to do some backyard barn fighting. But Notre Dame, they have sponsors. They make ton of money from hosting an event by selling tickets and things like that. And I was trying to let people know this would be an amazing opportunity once a year. But before that, we spent all this time training the kids, getting them prepared, making sure that they're on a team. This isn't something that's just like we're just throwing people together. This is a controlled bout. So I sent it to the coach, and the coach is like, this is amazing. He's like, what would you do if you had the kids 1 day a week? And it turned into, what would you do if you had them for 5 days or every day? And I went down the list, and he was like, would you like to be our strength and conditioning coach?
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely. And that was an amazing, game-changing experience to walk into. I like to call it like a den of wolves. When you get into a weight room for strength conditioning for D1 athletes, football, like those strength coaches are just like on another level.
They're crazy.
They are crazy. They are crazy. I mean, they can do insane things that you couldn't even imagine, and they're out there just going wild. And I was this guy who was like, I don't like max rep exercises, not for basketball players. I don't want them to really do a lot of intense heavy weightlifting. I want them to find balance. I want them to work on their core. I want them to be able to
explosion.
I don't care if you can dunk and touch the top of the backboard. Can you do that 27 times in a game? Every single time, and not have your knees hurting and blown up so that you can't do it the next game. So there was a lot of head butting about what I wanted to do, and there's also some hazing. So they wouldn't let me have any of the racks for the basketball players. So we took them outside onto the field that they had at the time, and I was out there killing them, just doing all kind of crazy things, just more functional things, getting them to understand their body, finding balance. I believe in push, pull, abs, legs. Really try to keep it simple. We're doing more pulling because there's a whole bunch of imbalances. They're just so rolled over with their shoulders. And we would do this intense workout, and I would always hold them to this really high standard. I'm like, you're a D1 athlete. I am in awe of you because you are a specimen. You have athleticism, but you're not in shape.
Right.
I've got older women who can, like, literally kick your ass. And you're squandering your opportunity.
Sarah crushed
to be
Leonard
great.
Fournette in a workout.
For sure. I absolutely believe it, because they are using their talent, their God-given gift, but they're not using their opportunities to push themselves hard because they can do it.
Well, that's what you see with the probably the greatest people in the NBA, in the NFL, et cetera.
Yeah.
They take their talent, mix it with work ethic,
Right.
and that's how they succeed.
That's
right?
one of Jonathan's favorites.
But he's
it's-
hustle over talent.
But the people that really succeed are the ones that have both.
Yeah, have both. Have
Hustle
the hustle
and talent.
and the talent.
Yep. Yeah. And, it's just amazing to have talent and just not really tap into the hustle part of it. And so that just drove me crazy. I would just literally just salivating, just
Right.
like trying to kill these dudes. Like, I want you to die today. I want you to experience parts of your body that you've never experienced before, just feel exhausted, and then tell you to get up and let's spar, because that's how I was trained from my trainer, Spider. He would put me through this grueling workout, and right when I thought it was over, some guy fresh off the street who's trying to learn to fight or who's actually trying to go pro, he's like, fight this guy. And I'm like, I can't even lift my arms. And he's like, well, I guess you got to figure something out, and you get to know yourself when you're in
Yeah.
that situation. And you're like, I really accomplished that. And that really sticks with you. So I tried to recreate that. And it worked really well. So much so that the football players were like, we want to go outside instead of being here.
Yeah.
So that was a real fun experience to be able to know that what I'm trying to do, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's, the only way to do something. This is just my approach
Yeah.
to my ability to teach and how I would train an athlete. And those opportunities opened up for me to get really close with the Pelicans. I got to train Zion. I got to train Anthony Davis, Drew Holiday. I got to train the whole basketball team. That was a really amazing experience. But that first experience of training Anthony Davis and teaching him how to box was a life-changing experience. And it's just been, I knew that I'm in the right industry.
How different is it for because you've trained now professional athletes, right? Like the 18-year-old coming in and the 27-year-old guy on the team. Is there a difference in how they train? I'm guessing yes, but
Well, the difference is ego.
yeah.
That's what you're dealing with is with its ego. And
As in the 18-year-old thinks he's hot shit. Or no?
Yeah, they're just naive, and so it's not. I don't think that they think they're hot shit. I think they believe it. They know that, but I think that they don't know what they're capable of, and they've never experienced this world. It's just
Right.
Imagine your first time walking into a gym and you're seeing
Yeah.
a squat rack, and you might have had like a little mom and pops set up at your high school, but when you get to a collegiate and it's like serious, that's they're trying to buff up and trying to be tough, so that 18-year-old is definitely, you got to peel back the layers. An older guy or woman would be, let's get to it, so
Yeah.
that's kind of the exciting thing when you have somebody that just wants to go.
Yeah, I imagine when you're younger too, you only know the work that it's taken to get there. You don't know the work to sustain at that level.
Right.
Because it's a little different.
Or hit the next level.
Yeah.
So is that so? Like the older guys, the vets, would be working the rooks under the table.
Not necessarily, because they're smart. There's no point in me trying to show off in the locker room.
Right.
Like, you got it, young guy. Go ahead, go go blow your legs out, and we're gonna go run for 3 more hours on the basketball court.
Yeah.
So they're smart about it. But then again, my philosophy is, let's look at your total volume and let's train based on your total volume on your hardest game that you've ever played. So let's go look at that footage and see how many times you sprint, how many times did you jump, how many transitions were there, what was their work to rest ratios, how do we program that? So if I'm breaking it down to biomechanics, I'm looking at the poses that we're getting into. It's constantly going to be in a lunge. You're going to have some transitional movements, so we need to work on our core, our range of motion, our flexibility. All these things are taken into consideration based on some very key things. So if I have somebody that's older, they're already primed a little bit more for this. So, we can just kind of reinforce that. But if we have someone who doesn't have the muscle memory there, we need to create those habits. We have to create that foundation. And I know you guys can relate, is because I saw somebody on CrossFit doing pull-ups and doing this stuff, and he's just jacked. I want to hang clean. And it's like, well, we need you to grab that PVC pipe over there.
Right.
And they're like, nah, bro, I want to go grab the bar. And I'm like, no, you need to work on your technique. And they don't understand that. And it's just, you got to have that moment where you let them kind of almost make an ass out of themselves. And then they're looking to you for help. And you're like, all right, now I'll help you.
I've done that before. I'm like, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
And then you say, oh, how's that working for you?
Yeah.
I want to, in my older age, with my dad vibes going on, no, not anymore. I don't say anything. I just, I'm there to help them and support them. But
You're a nice guy. Me.
I want to say it. But I don't.
How was training Zion?
It was an amazing experience to be in presence of greatness, and this guy is amazing. He has leadership qualities. He has a presence about him. He's driven. He's determined. Those are the things that you can see why he's the number 1 draft pick, or was the number 1 draft pick.
He seems like a super nice kid.
Oh yeah. Oh,
but I'm
my
gonna
God.
throw this
Yeah.
out here, Zion. If you ever get it up your butt, okay. I don't mean it like that. I mean I mean it like this. If you ever get a hinkering for some outside consultation, check out stackedcoaching.com. We have wonderful nutrition coaching, and I promise you, I will get your body fat percentage to where it needs to be. That was my shameless plug.
I like it.
That's good.
I like it.
I mean,
I like
so how hard was it? Because I know you were teaching somewhere else. So like you left the Riley Center, or you left being a strength and conditioning coach.
So, reality, working as a strength and conditioning coach, you work ungodly hours. You're at the beck and call. You have to love this sport. You have to love, if you're doing anything on a collegiate level, you have to really love the sport. And I get it. And it becomes something that you're consumed with. But you don't get paid well. And so,
Unless you're like Tommy Moffitt at LSU, or
Exactly.
Scotty Cochran at
And
Bama
then
or something
A
like
handful.
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, so, I got an opportunity to pick up some shifts working at Romney teaching spin, and Anita.
Yeah.
Anita is very special to me. It's like a mom. Anita knew me well enough to trick me. She said, "Hey, do you want to train somebody?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to make some money." And she's like, "I want you to train Aaron Romney." And I was like, "I don't know who that is." And she's like, "Just go to this place." And I get there, it's a spin class tryout or like introduction, and we're on these bikes, and I'm eye rolling. I'm just like, "This is."
How'd you meet Anita?
I met Anita. So, if you guys don't know, Anita is Dell Demp's wife, the old GM for the Pelicans. When I was working at Tulane, we had an opportunity to go to Pelicans practice facility. My friend Mark was the athletic trainer at the time. He invited me to get a certification on Viper tubes, and Carlos was there, was the head strength conditioning coach for the Pelicans, and we hit it off. We hit it off really well. That's been another mentor for me. Really amazing guy. He's now the strength conditioning coach for the Denver Nuggets. he brought me in. He was like, man, you got something special about you. And he was like, I got a client for you. I want you to train. She's been through 8 personal trainers in 2 months. I'm like, sure thing. And it was Anita. And I drove out there, and surprisingly, me and Anita hit it off really well. And Anita's just been a very important person in my life, and we just have such a great relationship. So she introduced me to Aaron.
Anita holds no punches.
Yeah, no, she'll tell you the truth, and I love that. So I show up to this class, and we're on these spin bikes, and she's putting us through a spin class, and I'm rolling my eyes because I'm the strength coach at Tulane. I'm not on a spin bike. I was just ego. And she was like, "There's an opportunity for you to make a good bit of money teaching classes here," and she, basically said, "We'll pay you for every butt you put in the seat." And I was doing the math, and I was like, "Oh, I want to do this now." Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I want to do this. So my old man speech, I put 16 hours into making my first playlist. If you know me, I don't have great rhythm, so I had to figure out the patterns. So I would have this Excel spreadsheet, color coordinated, that broke down the transition time. So
you and Emily could be
beautiful.
best friends.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love this. And I was just had it 16 hours to make this playlist. And I showed it or did the class for Erin, and she was like, "You can start tomorrow."
That's awesome.
And I did really well teaching those classes. And at that time, that's when I started Body Be Fit, and that was more or less for just kind of purposes of trying to be an agent for other trainers, just trying to give advice and help them find other gigs. And just really the process I went through to get hired, it was kind of a challenging uphill thing, and then to find out after you go through all this stuff, you only get paid like $14 an hour. I was like, you can make way more money than that. You can make $30 an hour doing private training out at the park. You can find all these different alternatives. And Audubon Park was a place where I trained a lot of my clients. And so I just wanted to pass that information on to other trainers. And so that was kind of how Body Be Fit got started with the name. And, at some point you start to grow and you need to move on to different things. And so there's a transition from Romney to getting the idea of starting my own gym.
Yeah.
And, when you put things out in the atmosphere, you talk about it out loud, things happen. So, to shorten the story up, Body Be Fit came shortly after that.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. What do you feel like is some things that you see in the fitness industry right now that you're just like, what the fuck? Without throwing anybody under the bus.
It's kind of a hard question, because what I was going to say earlier is, there are some things that are fads. So remember, at one point, everybody was doing VHS workouts.
Yeah.
And they had that thing with the blue and the red ball that was the Thigh Master.
Yeah.
That was the thing of working out at home.
Well, now that's kind of back with the mirror.
Right. And so, but what got us out of it was Soul Cycle.
Right.
Things like that got us out of the workouts at home. And then now we're back onto YouTube and Instagram, where you can do these workouts. So
Peloton bike.
Peloton,
stuff.
Yeah. So they all come from a place of something they pulled from the past, So there are some workouts that are kind of questionable, but that person was passionate to put this program together to have their niche in the industry. The only thing that bothers me is if you're not educated. If you don't have the background in this, and not to say that I don't think you should be doing it. I think that you should invest into yourself to protect yourself and also to protect others, because when you work in the industry and you get someone hurt and you have these reoccurring injuries at your gym, and you may not be aware of it, but everybody's got a knee problem or everybody's got a shoulder problem, and that has to do with your programming.
Yeah.
So if you're having those problems, you need to look at yourself and figure out what can you do to address it. And if you're not doing that, then you're doing this industry a disservice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you feel is your best attribute as a fitness trainer?
I think being able to adapt. I think being able to recognize that there's something happening here and we need to change. And that's not to say that's a bad word. It's just the brain wants to be efficient. So it's going to do everything in its power to make what you're doing efficient. It doesn't want to have to work harder than it has to. And the moment that happens, you plateau. Mm-hmm. So being able to recognize that your brain, your body has adapted to what you're doing, what are you going to do to shock that body to get it out of its comfort zone to make some more changes?
Yeah. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this in 2020, but like, how has your experience been as a black fitness trainer and then transitioning into a black fitness gym owner? I mean, not that you can compare it to.
Well, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
One of the things that I've experienced as a minority,
yeah,
which other people I think can relate in this industry, is you kind of get put in a box. Or my favorite thing, because I'm from the West Coast and I pronunciate my words, I speak so well. Is something that I've heard. You know, you speak so well, and like as opposed to the country shit that's coming out of your mouth,
right?
Oh, yeah.
But you know, fine. You know, I think we all have things that we have to overcome, and you know, there will be some negatives to being a minority that you have to encounter, and there's also some positives. So I'll use this for example. When I first started teaching my spin class, I was so worried about playing edited music, and I was like, I don't want to piss anybody off. I want to make sure I have this song, and I would spend so much time trying to find these songs. To one day I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
that was my first fuck.
Welcome.
There's your second.
That was
one.
my second.
Welcome to the dark side.
I decided, I was like, I'm going to play what I want. And I remember a client came up to me, was just like, man, that song was intense. Like, you know, and I was like, great, I'll play it tomorrow.
I like it.
And I can see there were some people who were getting uncomfortable with it because, you know, it's hardcore rap. I didn't care. I wanted to play that. If it's 6 a.m, I want to be up. I want to be into this. And so I started to weed people out who didn't like what I was doing, and I got more people who loved what I was doing. So with that, you know, I learned to just be myself and kind of just, you know, roll with that. So then switching over to being a business owner, it's a little frustrating to see my culture being used to drive clients to your studio, but you only have a bunch of people that look like you that work for you. And you're not giving the culture an opportunity to benefit from what you're profiting on. You know, if you are playing rap in class and you love that, hire some black people.
Yeah.
You know, because you might be in there in the wrong playing something that you really don't need to be playing that gives you a bad look. And if you have some people around you that care about you, like, look, that's not a good look. You should not do that. You know, I've heard stories of gyms being like, I don't want to be in a room listening to hardcore rap with a bunch of white women. And it's just all of us are just a bunch of white women because it's like something doesn't seem right. And that's not my opinion. I feel like you should do what you want to do. That's why I kind of started with that. But at the same time, I think you should pay some homage to that tool that you're using to drive customers to your class.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, there's a lot of things that you're benefiting from that. So I just think that you should share it and broaden. If you can listen to different type of music, then you can work with somebody else that doesn't look like you. You can open yourself up to new experiences. And I think that we should also spend more time, we should spend more time reaching out to the black community to say, hey, we welcome you to come work out. There's just perspective that, working out is this one type of image. If you think about fitness in the city, there's not really many black-owned fitness studio names that come up.
Yeah.
But there are a lot. There are a ton of those studios. But the idea that it's the key things that we know, like Orange Theory. I can go down the list, but I'm not going to.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
I mean, CrossFit.
Yeah, but I see a lot of diversity in CrossFit studios. That's something here in the city I've seen.
It's
that
getting
for
there.
Sure.
It's getting there. So it's tough. So, I mean, we try to. Anita always rides my butt about that. But I mean, rightfully so.
That's why you gotta.
I know. But it's like, I want to increase, but I don't know if it's my location or the vibe I'm giving off. I don't fucking know, man.
It's not the vibe, because that's definitely not the case, and it's not somewhat the location. It's just basically where you're spending your time at. If you find yourself in more environments where you are the minority in the situation and get to understand that culture and that environment, you will learn more how to connect. But if you're just sitting here poking your head out through your door and be like, where are all the minorities at, or other people that come to my gym, they're never going to come.
Right.
How do you make that connection? You have to go and be a part of it. It's cultural capital. It's vital, being able to walk into a different environment and you feel comfortable and you don't feel like you're out of your element, then that's a person I want to get to know, and they'll come travel to your place. And that capital that you're bringing, that cultural capital that you're bringing to that environment is vital, because they learn, oh, well, I feel comfortable here. And you have this meshing. You have people learning from each other that end up breaking down some barriers that they didn't know were there because they just don't know. And so you have a service, and you go out and you deliver that service. So for me, what I like to do is mental health is a really important thing to me and my household. So we have our classes, or we have our connection with people who have mental health issues, their first breaks, and we offer classes for them to come to the studio for free. We want to create a place where they can feel that they can feel safe and also grow and have an outlet and feel welcome. So that takes me going out and being involved in that community to be able to connect with those individuals. I can feel more comfortable connecting with them because I've been involved with that. And Epic NOLA, shout out. If you are hearing voices or you need someone to talk to, you should reach out to Epic NOLA. They can definitely help you out.
Awesome. I love it. Let's end with this. What is your favorite thing to coach?
Children. I love working with kids. Oh my God, I get to be a complete clown when I'm around kids. I just can't help it. So when we're in there, I'm just being goofy and silly, but also empowering them, making them feel comfortable in that environment and learning how to take care of themselves fitness-wise. So anything with kids, it can be water, it can be boxing, it can be weights, it can be running, it can just be anything. I love that.
And they're fun because adults will make a connection, they'll achieve something, and they're like, oh, cool. But a kid, it makes their day. Like, you see it all over their face.
Oh, yeah.
My son started
figure something
jujitsu, and I like watching him do jujitsu. It makes my day.
Yeah, you can't tell him nothing.
He just giggles the whole time. This kid will have him in like a chokehold, and he's just giggling.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
I'm like, bro, you gotta. I always tell him when he gets out the car, when I'm not watching him, I always tell him like, hey, strike first, no mercy.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai never dies.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't get it.
He's like, sure thing, Dad.
Yeah. I let him watch like the first couple seasons. The first part of Cobra Kai until a lot of P words were being dropped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's probably a bad idea. And then he started kicking stuff, and I'm like,
see,
you can't watch Cobra Kai anymore.
I love the innocence of it. I don't want to take that away from them, and that nostalgia that they have, and I just like work with that. This is where you're at today. Then let's do that, and and be goofy and feel comfortable in this strange environment.
Ah, I love it. I love it. They're an open book. What is your favorite song to get hyped to for you to work out personally?
So,
Or do you have like a genre?
it changes. Well, it'll change.
I think I'm gonna say this.
Franchise.
I think when you're a fitness trainer like we are, and then we own gyms, like there is no favorite thing because you get tired of everything, so you constantly have to switch.
Right. I'll find one song that'll stick with me for the whole year, and everybody's kind of eye rolling because I played so much. So right now it's Franchise by Travis Scott, but Kanye West is always in the mix.
Yeah.
I love him because he has 5-minute long songs, and people hate that we're on a verse climber because they know we're going to be doing this for a long time. So
They know what's coming their way.
oh yeah,
I dig it.
y'all got to come take a verse climber class.
I'm
I
in.
would love to see the look on your face.
Yeah, I'm gonna
after.
die.
I'm
I know it's.
sold,
I'm gonna
like-
die.
The first one is the first. So I will say this for all my listeners. We will be offering.
I'm gonna try not to let you know that I die though.
It'll be on your face. The first class is always the hardest. So we're going to offer introductory. So buy one, get two free, because we say by the third class, you really appreciate it. Because the first time I got on the machine, I was in LA and I did it, and I already bought the machines. And I was like, fuck that.
What did I
Send
do?
this
What
shit
did I
back.
do?
I was like, send this.
Buyer's
I
remorse.
was like, I was like, literally like, this is stupid. This is stupid. When you ask me the question of like,
Yeah.
this right here is dumb. And I got off of it and I got back on it again. And I was like, oh, I love this. This is amazing. But the first time I was like, this is wow. Yeah. So that first time it's an eye-opening experience.
I love it.
Yeah.
Fuck. Anything else to add, Brandon?
No, thank you guys for having me.
Oh, what's your schedule? Give everybody your schedule
So if
at Body Be Fit.
our schedule, so pretty soon we'll have anytime you want to come work out.
Right.
So that'll be available. We'll have some streaming classes that you can do. Typically we have classes in the morning from 6 to 8 and then noon. And then we have classes at 5 to about 7. And that's Monday through Thursday. The weekends just morning and afternoon classes. If you go to our website, bodybefitnola.com. So bodybefitnola.com. You can get onto our webpage. You'll see a schedule where you can check us out. If you shoot an email to our studio, it goes directly to my phone, so I can answer any questions that you have.
What's your Instagram handle?
It is bodybefitnola.
And your personal one?
BNEL04, BNEL04.
Oh shit! All right, I like it. Now that's out there. You're gonna be
It
getting
is.
people slide into your DMs.
That's right. The shirtless pictures are coming.
No one slides into my DMs.
It's seriously a mission. Bradley will be like, I posted this. This is what I have in my inbox.
Only dudes.
And
be
family.
Nice bod, bro.
yeah. So, all right, y'all. We hope you enjoyed this episode, getting to know Brandon. Definitely check out his studio, his Versa climbing classes, boxing class, all that stuff. We're going to be doing it. We'll give you a report on how that looks. So,
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
You can check us out at Rue_fitness on Instagram, right?
Yep.
Good.
Every time.
Every time. And Rue.fitness to check out our website. So make sure to like, rate, subscribe,
Say nice
review,
things.
say all the nice things, 5 stars only, nothing bad, and share with a friend. Peace.
Bye.